Hey guys, we are going to talk about the differences between staying on-site versus off-site at Walt Disney World on your visit. So let me preface this by saying that Disney World knows what they're doing. They know how to lure us in. I'm a sucker for it. Almost every trip, basically every trip I'm looking at, okay, how can we save money? What's the cheapest way to go? Or what are we willing to sacrifice, or were we willing to splurge on a little bit to get these benefits? And we kind of always end up staying on property. Even my next trip, I have my trip booked with Disney and I'm still like eyeing other things, staying off property, eyeing Airbnbs. And it just isn't, it doesn't make sense for us and our family and the things that we want. So I'm going to tell you the differences between staying on site and off site at Walt Disney World. There are a lot of benefits to staying on site at a Walt Disney World resort. One of the benefits is getting a 60-day booking window for your Fastpasses. What does this mean? If you go to Disney World at any theme park, you want to have Fastpasses. You can book 3 Fastpasses in advance. If you're staying off property, you can start booking those at 30 days prior to your trip. If you're staying on property, you can start booking those 60 days prior to your trip. And you may think, what's the difference between 30 days? It's a lot. A lot of the attractions that are very popular are going to already be booked and there will not be fast passes available. And if you're wondering what's the big deal between 30 days, wait until the morning of your fast pass, even at the 60-day window, and you're going to be realizing that there's a big difference in 30 minutes. So most people are up. If you are serious about getting your fast passes, you're up at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time on the 60-day mark of getting your fast pass, and you are booking those fast passes as fast as possible, grabbing the most popular attractions and hopefully getting them for the times you want. So that is one huge advantage of staying on property. If the attractions are a big part of your trip, even if they're a little part of your trip, it's going to make a huge difference to have fast passes, so you're not waiting 2.5 hours at Flight of Passage, 2 hours at Slinky Dog Dash. Those are the 2 most popular attractions right now. 2 hours at Seven Dwarf Mine Train. That's another super popular attraction. So those will be booked by the 30-day window. So having that 60-day window, 30 days in advance to get those is a huge deal. And what's also really nice when you are staying on Disney World property is your 60-day window starts 60 days out from your check-in date. So I can't do the math right now for you in my head, but let's say that you're going June 1st and your 30-day window is May, or your 60-day window is April 2nd. And you need to look that up. Don't do that if you're going June 1st. But April 2nd, you can book your fast passes for your entire trip, okay? For your entire stay on property. So if you're staying from June 1st to June 8th, you can hop on at that 60-day window, 60 days before June 1st, and book your fast passes, not just for your June 1st day. You don't have to then do it again on June 2nd for your second day on property. You get to book your fast passes for your entire stay. And that, again, that's a huge benefit, because now you're booking, if it's a 7-day stay, on that last day, you're booking 67 days in advance. I hope that makes sense. It can be very confusing if you're not familiar with this. Some of you already have that down. So let me know if you have questions. Another benefit that you may think is a benefit, others may not think it's a benefit, I love it, is the dining plan. So I'm going to do another video for y'all on the dining plans. There are 3 different dining plans: the quick service, the table service, and your deluxe dining plan. But when you stay on Disney property, you have the opportunity to purchase a dining plan. There are a few reasons I love the dining plan. One, it gives us an all-inclusive feel when we go to the resorts. We have already paid for the dining plan. We get to go up to our restaurant and order what we want if it's on the dining plan, which most things are on the dining plan. So we get what we want. We're not having to check prices. And I am a budgeter person, and I will check the prices, and I will get the cheapest thing, even if I don't want it, to save money. So for me, it really enhances my vacation to go ahead and get the Disney dining plan and have the freedom to get what I want when it's time to eat. We'll do a video on the dining plans because there is so much to comprehend with those. You get snacks, you get a resort refillable mug, you get meals, and everyone in your reservation is on the dining plan. So we'll do that later, so stay tuned. But the dining plan, if you are interested in it, it is an awesome benefit that is only available to people staying on property at a Disney World owned and operated property hotel. Another awesome advantage to staying on Disney property is the transportation. One, the transportation to and from the airport. That is 100% complimentary. Yes, that's 100% complimentary, free to you. As long as you put in a reservation for the Magical Express before your trip, which I can help you with, you get to land, your airplane lands, you don't even have to go to baggage claim. It's absolutely amazing. You just go straight to the Magical Express Disney area and they give you all the information to find that. And you scan your Magic Band, just go ahead and put that on right when you land in Orlando, or put it on before your flight even leaves. You scan in, they know where your resort is, they know where your bags are, they get them. You don't even have to worry about your bags. You just go get on that bus, go to the parks, go to Disney Springs, go to your resort, and then later that day you come back in from wherever you've been and you show up in your hotel room and your luggage is there waiting for you. It's absolutely awesome. So that is a huge benefit to staying on Disney property. If you're staying off property and you're flying in, you're going to want to think about Lyft, Uber. Your hotel may have a shuttle that goes from the airport to your hotel. It may cost money. You'll have to look at that for your own resort. But I'm telling you, the convenience of just packing your bags and not even having to worry about going to baggage claim, it's awesome. And my husband wanted to pack his laptop on the airplane. So we got to our resort, we saw if our room was ready. It actually was. So he got to just put all that in the room, and we already had with our carry-on, we packed our theme park bags. We had just what we needed for the theme parks, but he got to leave that in the room. If your room's not ready, you can leave it with Bell Services and then come get it when your room is ready. So it's super convenient. Another huge advantage to staying on Disney World property is the transportation within Disney World. So when you stay at a resort, you are getting free transportation to and from the parks, and it's constantly running while the parks are open. The transportation usually starts running about an hour before the parks open, and then an hour and a half after they close. It runs to Disney Springs till 2 a.m. If you're a night owl and you want to go to Disney Springs and have good food, good entertainment, you get free transportation to and from the parks and to and from Disney Springs. And that could either be through bus, through a water ferry, or through the monorail if you're at a monorail resort. If you stay off property, you are either probably gonna have a car or a rental car, or they may have shuttles. But a lot of times, just watch out, because if you stay off property and they say that they have shuttles, whether they're complimentary or you even have to pay to go to and from the parks, I would call and see what times those run, because I've stayed at off-site properties and it runs like twice a day. And if you want to go to the park or come home at any other time than that, you're on your own. But now with Uber and Lyft, it may not be a huge deal. And a lot of those buses, the complimentary shuttles, they share with multiple hotels. And so it could be they're going all around and picking up different people, and then you make it to the park. And so just do your research on the offsite ones. It may be worth it for you to stay offsite. All right, I've given you a lot of pros so far to staying on Disney, and I still have more pros for you. But one thing to consider if you're staying on site with Disney on a Disney World property is there are parking fees if you're keeping a car there overnight. At value resorts, that parking is $13. So those value resorts are all the all-star resorts. That's music, movies, sports, art of animation, Pop Century. I believe that's it. For moderate resorts, you're going to be paying $19 a night to keep your vehicle at the resort. And moderate resorts are your two Port Orleans resorts, Riverside and French Quarters. It's Caribbean and Coronado Springs. And then the Fort Wilderness is considered a moderate resort, but you actually have free parking because you're staying at tent sites and RVs, and you get to take your car in there for free because it's absolutely necessary. And then your deluxe resorts, you're going to be paying $24 overnight each night that you want to keep a car at a deluxe resort. And that's a long list of them, but it's your monorail resorts. That's Grand Floridian, Contemporary, Polynesian. It's your Epcot resorts, that's Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach Club, and it's it's Wilderness Lodge and Animal Kingdom Lodge. I may be forgetting one, but I don't think I am. So that's $24 a night for keeping your car at deluxe resorts. So that's something to consider if you're staying on Disney World property and you're bringing a car. Another huge advantage to staying on property, and this one is more specific to monorail resorts, is actually it's very specific to monorail resorts, is you have the monorail. Okay, the monorail resorts are Grand Floridian, Contemporary, and Polynesian. And what's awesome about this is if you have kids and you have big strollers, you don't have to fold your stroller to get onto that monorail. Now, if you're taking a bus or a water ferry, you have to get your kids out of the stroller. And y'all know how it is. You got tons of stuff in that stroller. You got to empty all that stuff out and carry it, fold up whoever's trying to fold up your stroller and you're trying to shuffle kids into a bus. You don't have to do that with the monorail resorts. You just, if you're going to Magic Kingdom, if you're staying on the monorail, you just wheel your stroller on the monorail and go. It's awesome. Your kids don't even have to get out of their stroller. That is a huge advantage to staying at a monorail resort, one of those 3 resorts on the monorail. And if you're going to Magic Kingdom, if you're going to Epcot, Hollywood Studios, or Animal Kingdom, you are going, even if you're on a monorail resort, you're going to have to take a bus or other transportation because the monorail does not go to those theme parks. Okay, another huge advantage. This may not save you money at the resort, at Disney World resorts, but it's a huge advantage. It's the theming of the resorts. And we'll talk about the different themings for the different resorts when we compare the value, moderate, and deluxe resorts. But the theming is so awesome and it's so fun for your kids. So at the value resorts, it's over the top theming. It's bright colors. It's super fun, larger than life. Everything, larger than life foosball, it's All-Star Sports, larger than life Dalmatians, Woody, larger than life musical instruments. It's so fun. It's so fun and the kids love it. At the moderate and deluxe resorts, you still have amazing theming, and it's not over the top bright colors and super duper kid friendly theming. It's theming of like, I feel like I have stepped into another culture here, or I feel like I am at like Caribbean Beach Resort. It's beach theming and you feel like you are there. You feel like you're at the beach. And it is very immersive and amazing theming. So I love to be in the Disney bubble. When I go to Disney World, I don't feel like I need to leave property. I don't need to go anywhere else. I love being in the Disney bubble, and the theming of the resorts helps that. Like I said, Disney knows how to pull you on property. They wrote me in every time, basically, and I stay on property because I love all those advantages. If we do take our car, I just suck it up and pay the overnight resort fees. The money is a huge factor, but it's not the only factor. And I love the immersive feel. I love the all-inclusive feel when we do the dining plan too. So let's talk about staying off-site. What are a few notes that I took from staying off-site? Okay, off-site obviously can be cheaper. Now, it can be more expensive. If you're comparing staying at a Disney value resort to the Waldorf Astoria in Orlando, you're gonna stay cheaper at the value resort, but it's a value resort, okay? It's a classic hotel, whereas this is the Hilton or the Waldorf Astoria. They're very fancy, very nice. So, but if you're comparing staying at a very fancy off-site resort to a fancy deluxe Disney resort, you might save money over here. Things to consider are their parking costs versus our parking costs. How much are you gonna pay for transportation versus our free transportation? But consider that if you're driving to the theme parks each day from this off-site resort, you will be paying a $25 parking fee each day. So that's something to consider. Another thing to consider is it could be the resorts off-site. Some of them do have overnight parking fees. What I have found, the farther away you get from Disney Springs and Disney World, they start losing the parking fees. Because, there aren't parking fees in like the boonies of hotels in the boonies. You don't pay for that. But the closer you are to Disney, the more likely it has the hotel that you'll be staying at does have a parking fee. So compare their parking fees to the Disney World on-site parking fees. If you're flying in, compare their shuttle transportation, which might cost money, or you might just be getting an Uber or a Lyft or a taxi. Compare that to the free transportation with Disney World. All of these, you just gotta weigh out all these pros and cons for yourself. Another thing to consider is they may have complimentary breakfast off-site. I'm all about complimentary breakfast. So if you can save money on that, we wouldn't save a ton of money because we're not huge breakfast people. We're just gonna have a granola bar or like something small in the room or take it to go anyway. But if you're a big breakfast person and you want your eggs and your pancakes, that sounds amazing right now, consider looking at finding a hotel that has complimentary breakfast. I think that's it. And obviously I had a ton of things to say about the Disney resorts. Their benefits are very clear. There's so many different types of resorts off property, so their benefits are all different, but I think I gave you the main ones to think about. Think about your transportation to and from the airport, your transportation to and from the theme parks, and what you'll be paying for theme park parking if you're going to Disney World. Think about breakfast, complimentary breakfast. If you get an off-site suite or an Airbnb, you can cook there. You also may not want to be in the Disney bubble like I do. You may like to leave Disney property, just leave that theming and feel like you're in the real world. I don't want that. You may want that. You may want to may want to leave Disney property and feel like, okay, this is normal life again. It may just give you a breath of fresh air to be in the normal world. If you have any questions for me, reach out. I'm happy to help you look through these things. Like I said, we find the resort first, your dates and resort first, and then we go into all the fun planning. And I'm happy to help you guys with all of that. Just reach out to me if you need anything, if you need me to run some quotes for you, or you just need some research or someone to talk to. Reach out. We can FaceTime, call, or just email back and forth and find options that are best for you and your family or whoever is traveling with you. All right. Y'all have a good day. Bye, guys.